Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. This one is my team selection for game week 31. So we'll have a look at how I got on in game week 30, then we'll have a look at how I'm set up for game week 31 and any transfers that I am thinking about and future plans. So to start with game week 30, I did end up wildcarding. You can see my team on screen. The decision, I'm not quite sure if it was the right one or not. It didn't make too much difference, but we'll go through it. So 58 points, overall rank 20k, so that is up from 27k. So Raya with 2 points, not great, especially given Martinez on the bench had 6. Munoz with 2 points. Palace were really disappointing, especially as it was against Southampton. Gabriel with 1 point. Now it looks like Gabriel is injured potentially for the rest of the season, so yeah, this one is the most annoying bit about the wildcard, to be honest, because obviously if I waited a week to wildcard, I would now not have Gabriel, wouldn't have to use a transfer to get rid of him, but it is what it is. Gvardiol with 6 points, he's just great. All of the City guys did really good. Savinho as well with 9. Savinho was a bit of a risk. To be honest, when I did pick him and put him in my team, I wasn't doing so because I thought that he was just completely nailed. I do think he'll miss games. I just think that he was worth taking the risk over anyone else, really. I don't want to spend 9.2 million on someone like Foden, who's just as much of a risk. I don't really want to get Diaz because it's boring, very, very low ceiling. And to be honest, he's a little bit of a risk as well. I did want triple City though, so took a risk on Savinho and it's worked out quite nicely so far. Sarr 2 points, not ideal. All of the Palace players were disappointing, to be honest. Salah with 3. I did think about starting with Saka instead of Salah, but I'm not big on Saka's expected minutes really between now and 33. I'd rather just wait till 33. Obviously Saka didn't start, so the expected minutes thing was right. However, he did come on and score. Salah blanked, but yeah, it is what it is. Palmer with 6, finally got some points from him. I was always starting with him. Isak with 8 points. Now, Isak was an interesting one. He did come off, but I don't think the injury is too bad. So I don't think I need to worry about that too much. Mateta with 1, again disappointing. And Marmoush with 18, so 9 as he was my captain. Now, pleased with how that went, to be honest. It was kind of tight between Marmoush, captain, and Salah. I just thought that fixture was really, really nice, so went with Marmoush. Martinez on the bench with 6, Murphy with 5, Livramento with 2, Konza with 6, so the bench scored some very nice points, annoyingly, but it is what it is. Now, if I didn't wildcard, I had Nwaneri, who I didn't think would start, but he did, got an assist. I had double Wolves defence, I had 8 Nuri and Agbadou. I think Agbadou got 8 points as well. And the transfer I would have made would have been Haaland to Marmoush and then captained him, so I think I worked it out and I would have been 7 points better off if I hadn't have wildcarded, but it's not too much of a problem, to be honest. I mean, I didn't think Nwaneri would start. My team wasn't looking great. I only had Munoz from Palace, and admittedly the Palace boys didn't really do a lot, so it is what it is. I had Mbeumo, but yeah, this is where I'm at. So I've now got 1 free transfer this week. So let's have a look at how I'm lined up for this week and my thoughts on captaincy and my future plans. Okay, so starting with the goalkeepers and defenders. I've got Raya in goal, obviously. Martinez on the bench with Forest at home. Don't mind that fixture for Martinez, but Raya is just better. So definitely going to be going with him. In defence, obviously, looking to the bench first. Gabriel is injured. He would be, if I was going to use a transfer this week, he would be who I'd use the transfer on. We'll go through that in a second though. And then I've got Konza with Forest at home. Didn't plan to be using him this week and I most likely won't be. Munoz with Brighton at home, not a bad fixture at all. Livramento with Leicester away. This was always one of the weeks where I was going to want to play him. And then Gvardiol with Man United away. So if Gabriel wasn't injured, then I would be benching Gvardiol and playing Gabriel. The option that I've got, I could sell Gabriel with my 1 free transfer to go to Saliba. That's quite a easy straight swap. However, I'm not really sure I need to do that this week. I'm not sure that Saliba with Everton away is loads better than Gvardiol with Man United away. I'm not sure it's a free transfer worth better, if that makes sense. I said that weird, but you know what I mean. I think I'd rather save the transfer, just play Gvardiol, deal with Gabriel either next week or the week after. I'm not sure I really need to deal with it now. So my plan is to bench boost in game week 33, triple captain in game week 32. Now, that might change. I might be interested in bench boosting in game week 32, in which case I would need to switch Gabriel next week. But I think I can basically shift that decision to next week rather than thinking about it all now. Gvardiol's fine. If I had to play Konza as well, it's not the end of the world. So I doubt I'll use a transfer on any of that. Now, looking at the midfield, I've got Murphy with Leicester away. I've got Savinho of Man United away on the bench. It's kind of tight between them two on who I play. Murphy just doesn't get great minutes. He starts most games, but he comes off, I think he came off around the 66th minute against whoever they played a couple of days ago. So it's not great. Savinho got about 80 minutes, which is a lot better. The thing is, I think Murphy's more likely to start, and it's a better fixture. But I think if Savinho starts, he does get more minutes. So it is an interesting one. Murphy came off quite early, and that was without Gordon available. So you'd think that if Gordon was available, he'd start. Murphy would start the other side, meaning that Barnes is on the bench. And you'd guess that Barnes would come on for Murphy. I think it was Willock that came on for Murphy. So it doesn't even seem to matter who's available. Murphy just doesn't seem to get 90 minutes. So I'm not sure where I'll land on Murphy or Savinho, but it is quite close. Then I've got Saul with Brighton at home, obviously really good fixture. Then I also have Salah with Fulham away, Palmer with Brentford away. I've got the captaincy on Salah and the vice on Palmer at the moment. My captaincy decision is three ways. It's between Salah, Palmer and Isak. Once I've talked about the forwards, we'll get on to my thinking on it. Longer term, my thinking is Palmer to Saka in game week 33. But I don't really need to think about that just yet. So forwards wise, obviously I've got Marmoush with Man United away. Marmoush is just going to play most weeks for me now. He should have some penalty share. Gundogan could potentially take some penalties, but Marmoush also could be the guy on penalties, so just happy to play him most weeks. Mateta, Brighton at home. Now he did come off quite early, but I'm hoping that's not a long-term thing. And then Isak with Leicester away, again, he did come off potentially injured, but my guess would be that either he starts or he's not in the squad. Could be wrong on that, obviously, but if he's not in the squad, I've got a bench to deal with it. Savinho can just play. That's not a problem. So captaincy-wise, I am thinking Salah, Palmer or Isak. As I just mentioned, I could put the captaincy on Isak if I think that he's either going to start or not be in the squad, which would mean that I'd just get my vice captain and I could put my vice on Salah or Palmer and that'd be fine. I just think all three of them are pretty close captaincy-wise. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to land on it. At the moment, I've got it on Salah. He kind of feels the safest at the moment. Whether or not that's true, I'm not too sure. Fulham at home, as in when Fulham are playing at home, their defence isn't too bad, but yeah, not sure where I'll land on captaincy. My future transfer plans are I will most likely roll this week. Kind of 99% sure I'll roll this week. Then it's looking at whether I do Gabriel to Saliba or someone else, potentially next week. And then in game week 33, if I still decide to bench boost in 33 instead of 32, then it will probably be Palmer to Saka, and then one of the Newcastle guys out to another Villa guy. Then I'll be bench boosting that week. That's my initial kind of high level plans at the moment. Things could change, as we've seen with the Gabriel injury. Things can change week on week. But yeah, that's where I'm currently at. So if you've got any questions on my team, on your team, do drop them in the comments. But that's it for this one. If you like the video, do hit like, do subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.